बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम ಎನ್ಐ ಇಂತಿಜಾಮ್ ಕೊಗ್ಗೆನ್ ಕುರಿಯಗೆಂದ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ಗೆ ತೇರವನ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಮುರಿಹಾ ಬಾವೆ ನವಿಸ್ ಮರ್ಹಬಾ ದನ್ನವ ಮಿರೇಗೆ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಕಂಡೆಡ್ಪಾವ ಮೌಲುವಕಿ ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ಲಿಪ್ ಕೊಗ್ಗೆನ್ ಕಿಯವಾದೇನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಎಗೆ ವಡಾರನ್ ಪದನ್ ಫ್ಲಿಪ್ ಕೊಗ್ಗೆನ್ ಕಿಯವಾದೆನ್ನಕಿ ಕ್ಲಾವುಗ ಮಸೆಕ್ಕೆತ್ತ ಕುರುಮ ಐಕು ಗೇಗವೆಸ್ ಮಸೆಕ್ಕೆತ್ತೋಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆಸ್ ಮೀವರೆ ಕುರುಂ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ mirege mawdu aryalwalama hudukuvani project based learning flipgoggen kewadinge fayadataka ekam kurane gottan adi penalistunge tajribatavves hissa kuram hamjihifave ehen kamun argumenna ko penalistunge gotka mire bæri wadagen devwani tibe fulunna wara danna equeri waragina platform to gowaran aguri mawlumat takin abudis hissa koddevumun gendawa ದಿವೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾ ಆದಂ ಅದಿ ಕಿಯವಾದೆನುಮ್ಗೆ ಅವರ ಬುರಕೊ ಮಸೆಕೆ ಕುರವಮುವಸ್ ಮಿರೇಗೆ ಮೌಲು ಅವರ ಗುಳುಮುರಿ ವರಗಿನ ಮಸೆಕೆತ್ತಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರವಮುಗೆಂದವ ಸಿಎಚ್ಎಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಫಾದಿಲ್ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಅದಹಂ ಮರಹಬಾಂಗೆ ತೋ ದೆಬೆ ಫುರ್ನವಿಸ್ Since this webinar is going to be conducted bilingually both in English and Divehi languages, I would like to give a brief introduction in the English as well. This is the 13th webinar of our webinar series, and today's topic is flipping project-based learning. Flipping project-based learning is important to engage students, lead them towards their interest, and also it helps them to be relevant in a changing world. Hence, with us joining as panelists, we have Dr. Ahmed Shafia Adam of Maldives National University and Mr. Muhammad Adham from Center for Higher Secondary Education. Mirege webinar is adagamatting a mahe webinar takeke gotta kuriya dane going algon kurko dannavala na mirege webinar gavis furatam 60 minute hasakure fawani presentation komme penalistevs 15 minute 20 minute demeduga wagutaka presentation devwane effahu dem baaki onna 40 minute ki suala jawab takan hasakureve wagutu tibe fulum mirege mawluwa godigen jawab hodam beenuwa suale waanama nuata presentation ta kuriya dagadige tibe fulunge ituga sual take upedenama anechet ga liuwa eran algon menge penalistum suala jawab noni Q&A time ga wagu tande mivvaraku sual taka jawab aruwan. As usual, duration for tonight's webinar is 1.5 hours. First 40 minutes will be allocated for presentation. Each panelist will give around 15 to 20 minutes presentation for around 15 to 20 minutes. And then next 45 minutes will be allocated for Q&A time. So if you have any questions regarding the topic, please type in the chat. During the presentations also you can type in the chat, or during the question and answer time also you can type in the chat. Webinar feshumge kuri malugondo furta malugondoge adu iveto test kollanam alugondoge adu tibe fulunam eba libila watorangala alugondoge adu libennamon chat ga eke jassawal devwa algondu adu libennamon chat ga one type kolla devwa then algondu adu nusaf kon libenama nota connection masal taken olowanama reconnect button reconnect kollava then reconnect kollama fahuwes tibe flona screen freeze one nota connection ge masal take dimawanama algon men YouTube link tibe fulona chat ga hissa kollafwana YouTube linkung wes live event ballawa legwen ema reconnect kollama fawes masotake molenama YouTube linkung event ballawa lava. If you can hear my voice clearly, please type 1 in the chat, and if there are issues, connectivity issues, or if my voice is not clear, please press the reconnect button. And after reconnecting also, if you have problems, connection problems, or if the voice is not clear, please use the YouTube link to watch tonight's webinar. YouTube link is shared in the chat. Then means abong algondu mirege webinar gen kuriyak dana ಮಿರೆಗೆ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಥಮ ಪೆನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ದೆವ್ವಾಣಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಪ್ರಥಮ ಅಳ್ಗೊಂಡು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾಗೆ ಕುರು ತಾರಫ್ ಎಕ್ತಿಬೆ ಫುಣ್ಣಂಗ್ ಅರ್ವಾಣ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾಕಿ ದಿವೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಗೌಮಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಹಣೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾಕಿ ಗೌಮಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ತಮ್ರೀನ್ ವಾ ಟೀಚರ್ ತಮ್ರೀನ್ ಕುರುಮ್ಗ ಅದಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಕುದಿ ದರಿವನು ಸೂಪರ್ವೈಸ್ ಕುರೋಮ್ಗ ಅದಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೋಗೆ ಸ್ವರಂಗಿಸ್ ದೌರೆ ಅದಾ ಕುರವಾ ಬೇಫ್ಳೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾಕಿ ಮೀಗೆ ಇತುರುಬಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾಕಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ತೋಗೆ ಹಿಂಗು ಮರ್ದನ ಕುರುಮಾಗುಳೆ ಗೊತ್ತುನ್ನ ಟೀಚರ್ ತಮ್ರೀನ್ ಕುರುಮಾಗುಳೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಗೌಮಿ ಫೆಂವರ್ಗ ಅದಿ ಬಣ್ಣಲಗ್ವಾಮಿ ಫೆಂವರ್ಗ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಏಕೇಕಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೋಗೆ ಸ್ವರ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಕುರೋಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವರಂಗಿಸ್ ದೌರೆ ಅದಾ ಕುರವಾ ಬೇಫ್ಳೆ अदी हम अहम वर फाह कोल्देवे डॉक्टर शाफियाकी वर तजरिबा होरी रिसर्च गे दायरा वर गिनगुण मसक्केत्तके कुरवा फवे मी गोत्तुन दिवे राज्य गवे सदी टीचरोंगे मेदगे रिसर्च कुरुंगे सगाफते मुफेद्दो मबस डॉक्टर शाफिया वर इसका मेदेवा अदी मी गे इतुरुं बस डॉक्टर शाफियाकी टीचरोंगे मेदगे उफेद्दुन तेरिकन तरग्गी कुरुमं अदी ಗುಳಿಗೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಮೆದಗ ಗುಳಿಗೆ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರ್ಮಟ್ಟಕ ತಫಾತು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ತ ಬೇಣು ಕುರ್ಮ ವರಬೊಡ ಬಾರೊಳವ ಬೇಫುಳೆ ಮಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾಗೆ ಕುರ್ ತಾರಫಫೋ ದೆನ್ ಅಳಗನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾ ಹವಾಲ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲಾಣ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿಯಾ ದ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇಸ್ ಯೋರ್ಸ್ ನೌ
Thank you very much, Azi. I hope that you all can hear me. Hori habe for nargun gadu ive to saaf ko. Azi argun ge art saaf to.
ade ebe saaf. Argun le saaf inge to.
Argun ge slide fene to.
Ade ba fen.
Ade. Miya targun me wahak de community azima vis vidali fadan project based learning flip kuraniga noniyamu තෆාත් ගොතක අල්මෙන් කියම් ෆොරලාලුම් වෙස් දිවෙහි බහුන් අල්මුන් හඳාම් වේ එදුරශීගේ සල්ගොන් මේ ෆ්ලිප් කුර්මා බෙහ ගොතුම් එෆහරු ලියුන හඳා අල්ගොන් ඒරුග බේනුම් කුරි බහකි ෆොරලුම් නොත ඔන්න ගොන්නුන් එහෙන් ගොතක බදල් කොල්ලු ඉංගෙතෝ මිය දසුග ෆොරතම අල්ගොන්ඩු අනේ ෆ්ලිපින් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් බේස් ලර්නින් ගේ වාහක දෙකුම් ගේ කුරින් නොනිය ෆ්ලිප් කුරුම් ගේ කුරින් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් බේස් ලර්නින් න කුඩ කුඩ එච්චේ දන්නවා ලා ෆලුන් කුරිය ජහිලානේ එමෙ ෆොරතම අනේ एक फिलोसफी की को बताऊं ना अब दिस दक्का वाह केमी कमे फशा नोनी कमे कुरमुळेरो एक मैगन फिलोसफी नो द मेंटालिटी व्हाट इज द मेंटालिटी बिहाइंड इट ए वार मुहिम मेचके इंगे ए मेंटालिटी एंगुनी में मेंगनी सीधा मीहा गे होरिहा एच्चेन एगोता बट्टम कुरम कुरा कंतवेस विष्णुन तवेस आदि एहन गोतुम बेनुम कुरवे तफात टेक्निक्स तवेस असलुग मी पीबीएल गे फिलोसफी फेशिफमियोननी वार कुरी गे फिलोसफरun हम एम्मे कुरी जमानु गे फिलोसफरun तेरेन खास कोन एरिस्टोटल आदि अने सोक्रेट मी द फिलोसफरun गे मैगंडु कियवा दिनुम गे गोत्तोगे तेरनुनिया एरुगे अने विष्णुम गे हिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन गे अल्वन में मिस वार कुरी बैचलर ऑफ एजुकेशन के विरालन में किया फरे मिमी होंगे हिस्ट्री तेरेगा क्वेश्चन इन इंक्वायरी या क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग न किहावरेगे अने समाल कमे दे फो एकन कियवा दिनुम गे बेनुम पुरमन गोत्तोगे तेरेगा देन खास कोन अल्वन में गे मी तंकोල मिहार बलालारुगा दुवे की अल्गन वार गयावा एका को एनगे लियुन तव्वेस वार गिनन अल्गन एकी बस पहुन लिए पहुन नेची फेनिफवे एगे तेरेन हम मी फिलोसफी गा मैगन गोते ग मियोननी एक्सपीरियंस खुदिन वර බොඩ තජරිබා එතෙවේ ඒ ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් කුරේ ෆොනෝනි ඒති තෙරෙන්නේ මිති අන්නන් ජෙහණි माने की प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग में मुहिम में की स्टूडेंट्स के इंटरेस्ट वර බොඩ ड्रीवन Sorry, can you see my slides?
They depend Dr. Shafia.
Everyone got saaf detto yeah kulliya kari disconnect veli irukolaka ingeto so what I was talking about was philosophy behind PBL ge magan philosophy ki students gayawa kantatta kon students ke abilities sa student ke shauq welcome ge tereng nerevigen anna ichaka gule masakkatta ke unnan jehni ei wara muhimmu philosophy ke asluga PBL ge wahaka dakkar dem yonnani overview ok balalaruga e manjehni kudin wara boda baveri wegen engaging ati enage real world enage aslu diruuluma guli fahunna hama ehemme e nayasida personally meaningful kantatteken ega himenen jehene ehemme je mi tin kantam mi wara muhimmecce project based ane learning komme activity areas adi komme masakkate areas project based ko lesson rawa kama wanyamo mi tin kanta himenum wara boda samal kan devashe engaging wan jehene real world for the student not for the teacher and personally ekudinna meaningful echchaka kantattaka wan jehene e hawal kureve masakkatu getere an war fast ko mege magan rechita mihem balale boda benwani practical misal taka dange to ema fritama ane pbl la balairuga ega demme algon dennevi hen wara bodan annane realistic problems and situations mane ki kudin engage wani see the it involves realistic problems and situations students is getting involved in a real problem which will be a situation from their surrounding and related to their learning and consists of formative and summative. I really want to talk about this formative strategies. Assessment for learning ge vara bæver strategies taka kashe aslu miti guligendani because during the whole project vara bæver kanta tenge mundaga formative assessment learning strategies ta benu kurevene at the end obviously you will do a summative evaluation of the whole holistic learning of the whole project ehme mi vara boda samal kan denje kanta teke pbl ravanyam then hame it improves students ability not necessarily related to the learning of the subject only but so many other skills vara bæver cooperatively adiheme vara par thinking skills vara bæver collaborative masaketa kurang ekin pudinna ek kurang daswa masakati ke pbl laki so the other thing is it helps students to really get involved in problem solving skills as well as research skills so mihar mizaman ge 21st century pedagogy of visnalaruga research skills aki vara muhimmeche because from the very beginning of their study they should start inquiring about what they are learning baragina liunterin liuva gotuga hama research tawge sadi literature ge sonnane what is it for me eti ki vege hetimana miyane echmi kiyawani how is it relevant to me and why do I actually need to learn it mi suwalaki mi kuchage sikundi ge ofeden je suwale mihar mizamanuga ti kiyawade echek gaves relevance kucha no visnanyam there is no need actually staying in front of the teacher or listening to the teacher because they can get information from elsewhere varang avaha amsalaka bill get 90s get terega pune 30 information is at your fingertips mihar ingili kurin jaha komme dimala kumes men press collar information fenna ehme information taken ahar men kutinna dinuge ben menete kucha amille research kurma kucha amille problem solve kurma nikanta tawara podang ahar men je samal kande then okay activities wanjhen gottaka balar authentic I think I have already mentioned it and then learner centered wanjhen I already mentioned that as well and intrinsically engaging I think that was my first philosophy when I talked about it and frequently vara gina fahara miwagoteki project denjheni one subject oriented question no hagi gatuga mi wanjheni vara boda co teaching na subject integration na bawa rechitaken ekwa gota dinime mi gastuga kujjaga holistic learning bodan annani learning is algun handam edurashi ge fara kalgon jona article ek onnane algun men eche das korani compartment එක බහ ෆෙතිකොල් කොල වකිවකින්න නෝනේ මානකි learning is already network එකේ අස්ලොග එහෙම කොම්මೆ subject වකින් මේ කියවා දිනුගේ philosophy එවිස්නු එබජේ හුට්ටාලා project there we need to really think about how this would be relevant to the other subject එහෙම interdisciplinary කොෆ නුනි multidisciplinary කොෆ මේ දෙවත්තර වෙස් අස්ලොග multidisciplinary මානකි බෑවරු එකී discipline ත එකී field තකොන් ගුල එච්චිත ලෙවිදාන interdisciplinary e field ගසුන එකී skills තක වෙද්දේ ගොත වෙස් project දෙවෙනේ මේ අසුගහර මේ algun men warapota visnanje kanta tami honani pbl and design of learning da so pbl also helps students to demonstrate emihunge knowledge or skills then content knowledge inge me varus demonstrate kureven hame emihunge thinking collaborative thinking creative thinking communication skills all these skills can be easily developed if successful project based learning is designed for the students. So I have a couple of things which I call ingredients of PBL. As you could see, kuring ahan de kiwaha katere learning. It means things are related to be students ke interest ashe 21st century skills mihar mizamanu ga 21st century skills ki ko ba he aha fiyam google wen war fase ham bunane bayen echi mihar sargun tibe huna tannawala na misalaka media literacy ingen jehene media literacy mane ki how to really communicate on the different media platform taw ingen jehene ha mehme digital literacy ingen jehene digital literacy mane ki misala ka mehen hulwala komme kahala tool en platform en noniyama digital tool libunima echa kulalan echa hamaga kantata kurang ingen jehene mi asuga daskod den jehe skills da then problem solving ingen jehene critical thinking ingen jehene creative thinking ingen jehene communication skills ingen jehene these are important skills that our children need to really learn and develop ehme jiyam project based learning terene mikala kantata mikure then feedback and reflection mara boda project based karega annane feedback di falu aneka bring some changes and they will be reflecting on their own learning and this is part of their learning skill I think ane hama NIE ge ane pedagogical assessment guide peg algon amuko kudina wahage dakkar kyane peg sonana wara boda ishara ko fa kudinge learning reflect kuram fursatu deshe kudinge learning reflect kuram fursat dinima actually they realize the learning I call it realized learning means that they can see their learning is happening and another article I remember writing in Edurashi visible learning how to make learning visible me visible learning nang asu jaga midevani boda reflection na jaga devigen kudin nang emi hun kura kantatta emi hun gelola hame genes dakkage emi hunna riya alugonda engume no muhim wani sida kujja realize wara muhimme then public presentation asuga project based ing wara boda hama kodde eche showcase kuran das koddino manaki emi hun kura masekke showcasing e manaki audience kan eti hushalan das koddino then question challenging kantatta ga tafat emi hunge interest a gule eki kahala kantattaka warabboda guligen eti drive kura gal gotakashe amuko me ahar me PBL rawani then huriha etche giturun algan ituru kollana learning from various resources PBL laki emme pattarakun kiyan hawal kurave ekachchakun balan hada etche none wara bavaru resource take balan eki masakka eki kantattoge teren asu hede etcheke algun mitanga question mark jahafa mihiri hagigatuga min komme dimalaka visnagen PBL revious stibe fulu mi ingredients hamakure kandelige ekedde tinekya hama nukuriyes kummiswara kamya align wa gota PBL rawashe ngeto alright so next algun mihar miolani ki vegen heye asu PBL flip kuram miolani there are so many different reasons ngeto mizamanuga asu PBL flip kuran je baver sabtan ebor emme pratama sababaki PBL mane ki project through ko kudin daskurun e learning na reach wa e target ka reach wa daskodino tuni e learning outcome achieve kuro so it may not be appropriate to really think restricted to the inside classroom ga tibegen ehuri ha masakkate nuan and the other thing is flip kuranje anekamaki this is to save time obviously it will save time the other thing is huri ha itte mizamana kunuje heye kurimati huregen sage on the stage gota modaris kiyawa dekashe ehemima often time it will be much more helpful for the student to have ekala helpful resources a videos a echita balang emi hun hada etche genesken emi hunge production dakkari the teacher can add things wala baver time save ko vefa wala boda learner centered ko class gendevene erun ekala modaris ಕ್ಲಾಹುಗೆ ಕುರಿಮತಿಗ ಹೊರಗೆಂಗೆ ಕಿಯಾದೆಂಜೆ ಎಚ್ಚಿ ಕಿಯಾದಿನು ಎಬ ಮಾದು ಕುರವೆ ಹಗೀಗತು ಗಾರ್ಮನ್ ದಣ್ಣವಾಣಿ ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆ ಲುಯಿ ವೆಸ್ ಕುರವೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ವೆಸ್ ಸೇವ್ ವೆಸ್ ಕುರವೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಕಲ ಗುಣ ಹೆಂಗ್ ನುಣಿಮಿಗೆ ಮುಳೆ ಕಾಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಮೀ ಅಳುಗಣ್ಣ ಬರ ಬೊಡ ದತಿ ಉಂದಗುವ ಕಮೆ ಬಾಯ್ ಮುದ್ದರಿಸು ಬುಣಾಣೆ ಕಾಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಕವರ್ ನು ಕುರವೆಯೆ ತೆಂಗ್ ಅಳುಗಣ್ಣ ಬೈ ಫರ್ ಇತರಣಿ ಅಸ್ಲುಕ ಕೋಂಚೆ ಕವರ್ ನು ಕುರವಿಗೆ ಬಾವೆ ಹಗೀಗತುಗ ಮಿವಳನೆ flipped classroom ek gota design kure miwa gota ki content to cover we fama bodawa situra masekke kuram kudina jaga devani e malgon men asluga mihar visna mejje mizamange kiyawadinuge mahol toga mikam mi gannawa usuluge dashun algun men kurane gote visna algun menge school ga mikam kurane go we will be thinking about how we are going to design learning in order to really accommodate what we need in our classrooms ingato So there are a couple of things that we need to do. We flipped classroom ekka vejiyamu. Traditionally misalaka Bloom's taxonomy visnanyamu. Arme mi kiyawa dechi mi kiyawa dene misalaka kudinna knowledge base ko kiyawa di for then apply kuran, you apply and you analyze, you evaluate and you create. But on the other way around, flipped classroom ekka miwa gotaki emme furatam es kujja mi kurakama ki creating. Emme furatama kurakama ki creating. You haven't actually explained anything yet. You haven't actually asked them to misalaka mivani tasking exactly nimmasha before you create. No, you just give them the task, and the outcome that you have written is production of that thing. So production of that thing, the learning outcome is the creating or the creation or the act of creating something. Eham vima me flipped wire magotiki upside down gag ganaka create kuramundar evaluate wes kurana, analyze wes kurana. They will also apply and they will also understand during the process, and they will obviously recall some information in order to complete the whole thing. So everything is going to be compiled and really combined everything, but start from the top. Eham mihar mizamanuge classroom task there, what we are doing is giving them a task to produce something. Basically that is what I mean by ekala upside down ko flip kollo. And there are a couple of things that we need to do. Misalaka mizamanuga vechiyama algon dannawana by muhimmu kantatta miharu flipped classroom tawga korave wara gina teachers they create content videos ingeto a short content video maneki misalaka algon menge teacher adham kala mudarise nama misalaka chsc ka kiyawa devvaruga e kiyawa de magan concept ka behe misalaka 3 to 5 minutes ke video hadafa waki platform ka Google Classroom namas adi YouTube namas e nage lecture ta laugh e bahure. This is part of flipped classroom by mihum kura. Then anepa fahara ku mi hadagoteki eya ekkom additional resources add kollani hama video ekko by platform tawga deni mevani kala resource ta website taka adi books vs books sa adi misalaka animated ehin kala echi hunnanya echi tagwes misalaka ane presentation tavs available, slide share presentation tavs available. Bavar resource ta hunna ek dima kudi hint kudinna deni and links are given. Bavar variety of resources deni. Then mi hada gotaki during the process of designing flipped classroom terega kudinna vara bavar virtual activity takem mideni kudin ekko masek kura, meaning that during the process students will have 1 or 2 meetings virtually emihun hada masek pate terega eka panaka ka collaborate kura. So often digital platforms are offered. Misalaka Google Doc ka kurani nune Google Classroom ga in line with miven buying ekko she o Jamboard ga kura masek kateke nuni yamu Google Sites adan kura masek kateke. Either way, the platform is provided to do a collaborative work together in one team. Ehame war gina fara flip classroom ga deni ek group takegge kudin ekko masek ekkura. At the end, final product angonnan. At the end, because it is project based learning. Interestingly, throughout this whole thing, I did not say anything about the classroom yet. So it means these things are designed by the teachers. Teachers will be maybe just little bit salaka one short video take you can create by your own, and it's very simple nowadays. You can actually just do a PowerPoint presentation and record your voice, and that's it. Simply so very easy. It doesn't take much time. So then me design kurani some activities how they are going to go about it. You will have 2 meetings to design how you are going to go about it. Kudin amille kurana kantattake activity tadde e fawga end product. So I'm going to now share with you some of the practical things that I have seen in classrooms in other countries. Arun furtama mi share kolla ane example laki higher education context ekamaku wara science ma daika benu ko faingode mi project ga astuga mi algon ge research project ekga magan gote garun men evaluate kori flipped classroom e kihineto science and engineering ga gendani throughout one semester gendi eruga lecturer in benu korevi gottaka what they have used as lecturers to in order to really create those content videos, and where did they really upload them, and how did the students use them. So there were a lot of conversation around how this whole process took place. So what I have seen is what lecturers takyar ko for content gori, because I did the analysis of the video content hama e tayyar ko for video ta kuru video tan hada funani engineering ga emi hum hadan je model en hadaru ga beenun kuran je bike hala techniques misalakan emi kudinge product ki emi hunna hadan je machine ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ದಕ್ಕಡಿ ಎ ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಹೆದಮಟ್ಟಕ ಬೇನುಂಬ ಬೈಕ್ ಹಲ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜೀಸ್ ತಕ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ತಕ ಬೇನು ಕುರಂಜೆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಗೆ explanation ta kuru video takin hada fa hunnani hama platform kallaf then a platform ga kudin eti nagagen balan ekudin jeheni ekudinge e product benuma huri haccha hama kogge echi hadagen klahan anna klahan ama miwagati station based of tipeni eki kudin komme group akon tin kudin hatar kudin hada model bahattagen alunenge school ga experience by far anna ne ekala science fair avenunto ekal gotaka tipeni kudin emihunge model hifan dakka then lecturer will be visiting each group and the group will talk about it and the lecturer will add things as he talks with the students, and everybody will be watching ekudin dakka model kuriham station based of tibeni ehen tiberes eki station taka kudin eki echi uralaru asa adwa hada at the end mibna eti complete kon nimmafa emi hunna anikka ves deni emi hun eti improve kurane gottaka strategies take feedback ayko dinima then they will come up with the final product in the next class. So that was the product that I have seen in a research project. Then classroom ekka secondary and middle school classroom ekka and argon ke erugaves wazifa ki video documentation of flipped classroom engedo. So what I have seen argon mihar misha kuran argon fenunu kanta edu teacher kuravi kamaki kudina class feshiruga because I did the video documentation of 4 classes a lesson ekkon nimen deka, so throughout 2 weeks 4 classes edo furatama kurikamaki kudin kari bune this is the final product that I'm expecting you to complete kya fa ege task design na eko kuranje kantatta hama demme mi bune hem virtual activities da then film and television is a main task ka di foti komme kujja quest amille film et tayyar kuna ekam film tayyar kurar mi tayyar kurani तीन मादाएं ekuwa gota ekachaki Maori language ay New Zealand ga aslu language inge to Maori language ge bai then English then ane social studies mi timmadda ekko baveri koggen hada for project en a project ga kudin hadan jehani film kuru film gaiganaka ane final minute ge kuru film first kudin ge group ka masek kuran hama guide rangala di nimma fa kudin hama beran nereli nerela fa den emi hon amillen emi hon etibitane gatibegen design koggen as emi hon ba ga dakkala fa den baki obba emi hon annan jehani eki dustu as emi hon hame kani ane conversation eka mar about ane gina masekketta koffa annani mibunahen komme hataru class teren dekla hoga masekke demonstrate ko eti model dakka wahaka deko ege teriya mudari set ko emme fahum fahudu a final product upload kurani YouTube ane school YouTube ane link ehme mi final thin the whole product annairuga vara boda assessment for learning through padani then a lot of work done at home and resources were provided film hadane koi then hame content to be included topics hame kani ekudin amille decide kurani conversational kotto gendani film ge main characters take gotetto gendani the choice was given to them and lot of thinking skills, lot of creative skills, and so many things. I was so impressed while I was video documenting those classes. Me astuga just a few example of many that you could do as teachers. And these are the things actually what I have practically said.
Dr. Shafia.
I think I can share the rest of the slides after maybe
5 minutes. The 5 minutes. Okay,
yeah. Thank you very much. So what basically I have said is this is what I'm suggesting. The main part of the product is done at home, and then they will come to the class. As you can see, the big wheel is taken at home, and the smaller one you could say is like the second round of it. Students will come and present and really showcase what they have done, and the teacher will give feedback and go back to home again. So go back to home gayoti ekkala feedback ekko gosa kucha rangal kuramwa eche rangal koffa, they will be coming back, and you will see some of the little, maybe some tips are given at each stage. Misalaka at home dairuga kudinna pre-work ke gota assign koffe onnane kommes kala structure e kommes kala kuramba masekkate learning objectives lefa hadama product ge nan lefa, and konta kon kongotaka kan resource libeni, whether it is content video with ya video nuni resource meni kala helpful learning materials hunnane tantanu ge kommes kala supportive echitake provide koddi for hunnane then ha amma ehemme war boda inquiry based ko design koffe onnane එහෙම at home da iruga task onnani hawal kurai, then as a mikala facilitate learning, then as a provide opportunities for students to showcase, and then clarify things that they are unclear, and therefore organize learning in small groups. Apadwes visnashe class terega eki ekachaka row by row timu badalga e kudinna apadwes fursat deshe, so that they can raise questions and they can say, okay, this is what I have done, is there anything wrong, I find this meet misalaka e nukunna waade miya kunnuku me meshina kunne, so what is happening exactly. So a lot of conversation, lot of opportunities to discuss what they have done is happening inside the class, and then with the feedback they will go back and improve what they have done. Mi hama vara simple formula mi kiyadeni miye asloga mi kura kantawge alugonduge amilla hama recently taken class ek alugondu kanko for exactly you see here. Alugonge classroom ga learning theories kiyawadin duwahega alugon buni kudin kariga emihunge audio recorded ane presentation taken hadan alugondu ekkote kavves learning theories kiyawadnude ಅಳುಗೊಂಡು ಹಮ ಎಕನೆ ದಿಂಹಾವೆ ಸೆಚ್ಚಕಿ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಯರೀಸ್ ka hada furi by videos taka by kala ane infographics taka by kala resources sa mi chita compile ko fa in folder e hama moodle ga upload ko fa innani videos ta honnani moodle ga upload ko fa khudin amillen eti hadagen google site en hadan jehani ehuri ha learning theories lagen by recorded emi hunge clarification ta lagen komme gote ves mitanga mi pre class time ekkal gunahen at home detto daane ekla hoge kurin alwan mit me assign kurani ehme ma assessment as learning wara bodan hingana eka ko aneka hukura masekke balamunda gotan algondu hedi ei google sites ke me hada iruga groups were divided into four migota 4 in 1 ge baha fe team leaders ayan kurei fe group ge ki members ke ki kantatta baha goi masha fenna hunnan jehene ehme wara boda eka kanika ge masekke bala gotan hawal kuran then in class time ga mikura kamaki wara boda assessment for learning Mika misalaka and learning theories ke khasa ko misalaka Pavlov known as Skinner operant conditioning ko so and classical conditioning kya deruga mean lekwa echi nuni classroom practice ka itura kudinna engenje echi alugandu feed kurani with through the conversation then mfahon anekka hori hachaka gos they will bring the final changes and modification and alteration to everything that they will need to improve that thing. And during that process it also part of ekal assessment of learning na quizzing hadane hama ehme ekkucha kane kuchaka tag benu ko ken feedback dene tag is something like a very simple way to provide feedback to each group tag mane ki misalaka T is for tell something good about the work, and then A is for ask a question regarding the work done misalaka if things were not clear, something that is not clear, and the last one give a suggestion to improve. So tag benu ko gen algonu ge group ane group feedback then it was such a successful learning product asu kudin eti hada learning theories ebuneti before hitana me wara madu echke hagigatu me dakkane gakanaka a learning theory ge wa imagine that if I was going to explain every single theory in each misalaka deifona gadiga it would have taken much more the time that I could have spent mitagam in the class time ga mikurika final product was very successful, student learning was very successful, so many different skills were developed and students were happy with their product and showcasing their work, and that is what we want to do. Me algonge classroom ega algonge hama aslo exactly what I have done, and simply I was very happy with my students learning. me aluganu kuri kantattawge tereng mi dakkalani misalaka flipped kura iruga before classroom ga mihara huriha blue bubble take blue blocks tak mihiri mulimes kudin kuran jehe kantatta. So imagine that if you count how many different boxes are given for teachers, only two, and there are two strategies that you will have both together. If you really check how interesting it is, like getting started first part, and then in the making, during the product making, and then in the class, it is just about showcasing and validating their understanding. How beautiful is it? How much students will learn? I think you would appreciate your work when you see your students working like this, and you will be so proud of their work, because students are actually taking 80% of the learning process. You are just facilitating, you are just helping them, you are just giving feedback, and that is what we want. Actually, we don't want to feed students. And there are a couple of questions I want to really start with.
Dr. Shafia,
Yeah,
yeah,
these are the questions that I want to discuss with the audience. And please keep thinking about the questions here, and you may ask additional question. I was thinking that we could talk through these ones. Yeah, any question? I am ready when you are.
Dr. Shafia,
Yeah.
ebe from bavering benova suala chatga liwumon suala jawab gadiga ane
Some get this call. How about we leave these questions as well for the later discussions? Would that be all right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Shukriya angata Dr. Shafia. Dr. Shafia have highlighted, as Dr. Shafia have highlighted in her presentation, we have seen the importance of flip project-based learning, philosophy behind this, how to flip, and also some very relevant and important practical examples also we have seen in her presentation. Once again, thank you, Dr. Shafia. Then presentation hushara den mang algando adham algan me gane panelist adhamma fursat arwalana ege kurin adhamge kuru tarafet be furna hissa kollana adhamma seke kurum gendawani Center for Higher Secondary Education CHSC ga adhamma ki CHSC ge physics teacher en adi physics department ge head adham gabu kurava gotuga mizamange kudinna kevadinu mattaka technology beenon kurumaki kommen kuranjene kame migotun adham ama waragi namaseketake kuravva me technology beenon koggen kevadinu muga waragi namaseketake kuravva mige iturumes adhammaki dehas vihiwana aharu Ministry of Education on intizam koggen hingi tedi class program toga coordinator ge gotum wes wara burako masike kuravva befule wara muhimu dawren ada kuravva Mige turung adhammaki Google certified educator evesme G Suite for Education at teacher un tambien kurevuma adham amali gotum bæru weda gannawa mi adhamge by maseketta den alugando adhamma fursat arwana presentation devuma adham kuriya gendawanye to adham
Shukriya. Assalamu alaikum. Around presentation and Korea Dana. Around presentation Shafia miske presentation gawarboda kiya deva project based learning na ki kobakan adi project based learning flip kurana goy around the presentation gawarboda balalan around benumwani practically clahege terega mikanta kurana goy kuri vidana goy alming as teachers how we can flip our classroom and how we can change our classes into project based flipped classes. Okay, so first I wanted to highlight that flipped classroom me kuriya gendairu ganone project based learning flip kollam balala iru galmen ebe jehe almen lesson ta hataru pillars ge macha me base koran ema flipped learning ge FLIP me hataru letter me represent koddeni me komme pillar ge to ema F mil alun afar pillar ka balalana ema F me represent koddeni flexible learning environment almeng flip classroom kuriya gendaru galmen eba warabuda balanjehe we have to ensure that our learning environment is flexible, because as teachers we have to remember that in our classes there are variety of students, because we have visual learners, we have auditory learners, we have kinesthetic learners. So when we actually make our classes, when we formulate our lessons, and when we are planning our lessons, we have to make sure that we ensure that students actually have flexibility in their learning, different learning modes. So I have included 3 pictures here, so you can see the logo. You'll be very familiar with the Google Slides, Google Docs, and Google Sheets. So we are providing students to in different learning modes so that they can rearrange their learning spaces, so students can learn using different learning modes. So for example, Google Slides, they can communicate with each other. There is a chat function. In Google Docs, teacher can leave a comment, they can check with each other. And Google Slides, oftentimes we can use to monitor the students. So it's very important that we can monitor. Teachers should be able to monitor each other, each students ekkuja kura work wara boda ekkuja fennan jehene emai f represent kodde kamaki demmi the l ki learning culture. Almen emme boda Shafia miske wahakage ifaha kurevi learning culture almen terege beje badal kollan almen learning na classroom mi deke goi almen beje badal kollan almen shift kuran beje teacher instruction dinum ge badal ga almen learner centered instruction naka badal kollan ema teaching culture almen photo ga sinnane teacher hama kurimati stage on stage gota kiyawa dinu ge badal ga kudin amillayen eti learning amilla kudin amilla learn kora me har flipped learning wara clear ko Shafia miske presentation ka kiya difi furatama kudin create kurani ekka dakkala in triangle flip kollane ama kudin furatama create koge mi culture alum terege beje wara bodan himanan alum terege mi culture himanafiam ekkala class time ga alum kiyawade minaga class time alum mi use kurani kudin in depth learning komme outcome ege in depth gosta kudin me daskurani migen content create kuran migen suwal tan hadan jawab tan understand wa itura kudin eba daskure migen baur kantata ema mige sabun kudin na evaluation eba daskure communication kudin eba daskure ema mi culture mi learning culture almen eba je badal kollan ei l mi represent kodde kamaki then I mean any intentional learning content mi waram muhimmukamen almen flipped learning nuwata PBL almen practice kuraruga almen ge lesson solely our lesson solely should be based on learning outcomes. Our lesson should not deviate from our learning outcomes. We should tell the first thing we should do is we should share our learning objectives. What are the learning outcomes we are going to cover in this project? If we are combining subjects, what are the different outcomes we are combining? That is the first thing that we have to do as teachers when we are planning, and also when we are presenting to the students. So the students will have actually an overall idea of what they have to do. And when we give intentional learning content, the procedural fluency of the students will be very high. Now, almen recipe en adarugas recipe follow kurang almen me das kurane. Detto almen instruction there ga kudinna wara clearly mihar mihenne den haden jeni mihar jawaben negi janoni suwalen ovejjiyamu migoteshe haden jeni. Now wara clearly step by step on a procedure gawa kalona midakkani ema kudinna procedural fluency otumaki almena hi alna hiwani an deke got komi waram muhimmuka men almenge classroom ge terega mihar wara madunnone almena nufenna ka me kudinna me procedure follow kurang dasko den den adi hama student centered ko me kiyawa dene den emme last one P me represent korani professional educators me waram muhimmu kamen almen professional educators ge gotuga almenge akudin na kiyawa dinuma akuriya gendamwani ema me waragena faharu inna misconception en ei flipped based learning and flipped kuraya not project based learning flipped kurayaruga teacher ge astu beenu men ninnani ekam aluganu gabbu kura gotuga personally gabbu kura gotuga aslu teacherunge importance eba deguna vegende aslu lahaga kiyawa dinuma kore em teacher aslu eba balanje kudin komme kujje nota komme group egge me masakke kuriyadani rangalatto e masakke rangala eba feedback e komme mi step එක ගබ feedback දෙන්ජේ ekudin rangala pura masakkate misaka kudin deviate wannam kudin rangalu patta aluwan ebeje komme do kalmen ebeje feedback den komme do kalmen ebeje kudin ge work iha warakatto almen ekudin complete ko fahuri iha warakatto algon men ekudin me achieve kuram benuwa objective achieve kurai fahuri. So we have to always give them continuously give them feedback. So this is the 4 pillars of flipped learning. So next I will be looking into how we can actually flip a classroom. So this is one way that I use. So me komme step evis alun faha kollam benu guli fennani lesson ge objective geto mehar huriha mige komme kulayga tibefona tifenna huri komme kulayga men step evis guli fennani lesson ge objective em furatam meanani determining your technology. em furatam almen balanjeheni konkahala technology etto almen klaha use kurani eki lesson takan eki wattaruge lesson takan almen benu kurani eki wattaruge technology em tibefona fennani Gmail, Google Drive, Google Meet, eki kahala war Google Calendars. So eki kahala almen war almen huriha be friends war familiar wani Google hs sahe me Google ge mira different applications saka em almen etanun appropriate hs nagagen war boda user friendly application almen me technology nagar almen ebeje samal kanden user friendly application ne beenun kura me user friendly nuvies misal almen me feel and almen kudinnaka misalaka eha bodaka neengene Google classroom use kuraka e vejjang almen furatama duwu preparation time ga almen koda kokkudina demonstrate kol denge beje mihiriye beenun kurani gotaki miye mittanashe upload korenjeni man sir ge me ane concept tan honnani mitange mi bage tikudinge work hadani mi bage tikudinge ehin kudinge work ta fennani ehema mi almen mi bona me user friendly kudinna misaka one period gitere galmna kiya de dane eti beenun kuranage den baram muhim kamen ei kudinge progress check kuru komme do ko ekudi bag ekudin anna dei phone work clear to misalaka masake nunim menyamu kiyegen to nunim muni kobato ekudinge doubts saki bada me eti bala ekudina waraboda kiya den embeje den devana kammege tere alme waraboda project based learning e terege shafia miss faha kolla alme video ya content hadan ebeje ema video hadairu galme video not content hadairu galme jehe wara simple applications use kora ege detin misalen alon faha kolla fendi furtame screencastify e alme wara short wara effective videos alme nan hadalaven screencastifying we can make short very effective videos. So we can just record the video and send it. We will get the video in our computer and then we can upload it. The next two ones we will be very, very familiar with. The first one is the PowerPoint presentations. So I've seen a lot of teachers doing it. We can put a voice file in the PowerPoint presentation. Me PowerPoint presentation a voice cell and almana warak gena fenun hama me teachers meet use kuratan telekla hoga then me the Google Meet hama war first thing almen Google Meet vadela hama lesson me record kolla eti ayge link almen hama war gina teachers almen fene practice kura kame me hama Google Classroom ekudinna misalka naadeve ekudinna bes mihar islam ekem almen mihira applications use kolla almen mihar focus kurambi meeti project based learning naka badal kolla then hama me videos create kurar waraboda kudina kiya den wane me effective ko mehira applications use kurani kinekkan wagutu misalka salame kurani kihinekkan alme waraboda kudina kiya den chen then me the step alme waraboda faha kollam beenu waran kamen almen kuram yoleni almen alwan men teacher onna vis waran kamen hema almen eba han me parents of the students service wara transparent wange beje almen parents update kodden ebeje mihiriye almen me objective meche almen klaha kiya den walani kudin use kurani mihira applications se kudinna me lesson hadam beenumane mihira wagute mevare gine wagute beenume nuwane mihiriye kudinna difuri work and fesheru ga hasakun almen ge parents wara bodan update kodden ebeje algan men as teachers mihiriye kudin been kar mihiriye tafad kankamaki me kudinna itura kudinge learning enhance koddeshe muleni almen as teachers එහෙම වීම ඒ වර මුහිම්මු procedure then kudinna warar muhimmu kame me teaching to be good digital citizens internet ke beenon rangalo gotuga hifan almen eba kudina das kodden eba je kudin enan eba je almen educate kodde then තිම්මන කමකාන වරබොඩ පහක් කොල්ලම් බේනුම් වේ remind the level of commitment needed for each lesson එකි lesson ස බේනුම් වානි එකි ගඩි එම කුදින්න මිසාලකන් එමෙ මදුවගෙන් අල්මෙන් වෙ බොනෙදෙන් ජෙහෙ මිවරුගේ reading time බේනුම් මානකන් මිවරුගේ preparation time බේනුම් මානකන් වරබොඩ අල්මෙන් ඒ teachers එබ කියා දෙන් ජෙහෙ අලුගන් මෙන්ගේ එකල මේ instruction ගේ තෙරේග we have to include that in our instruction, then the procrastination and everything will definitely reduce. So that is one way that we can reduce it. And then the next one is, I would say, is the most important one, making students accountable. So it is very important is the project-based learning, when we are flipping it, it is highly student-centered. So students are doing all the work. So we have to make students accountable. So one thing that we can do is we can track their progress. Kudin masakken hadaaf hunnani kiha warakatto komme dokes check koranjehen. Kudin masakken nehedeni kiwento kudin kariga ahanjene. Kudin masakken hada gadiga ebajehe alune monitor kuramvis adi effective feedback de. Kudin hadamunda gadiga kudin kujjaku rangalu working hadafiya good feedback kujjaku rangalu kollan je kamen innennam ekame salmen ebajehe fahak kollan adi constantly kurin chafyamske wahakak fahak kuri gote ss kuran ebajehe constantly then hama warabboda ngal faha kollam beenum ve project based learning alugan me focus kurani perfect product en hedume nu e concept alugan men ebaje he du kolla kudin hama madum hadamun dairuga it's kudin almen kiyaden ebaje he okay ka mistake en hedunes teacher eba hurin kan I am there for you to correct your mistake I am here I am your teacher I'm going to help you I'm going to correct you so a concept almen kudina warabboda kiyaden eba jehe ehem vi malugan men progress me check kuran jeheni kudin mi hadani rangalatto kudina window en huluwalan eba jehe kudin doubt clear kuran then last one nakan al balalam benuwe keeping it up almen kuran melani kame almen kuram miwalani almen kuriga practice nukura kame ehma furatama lesson nam perfect nuwe dane ham warab eki kahala wara undagu project ave samalmen eba test kora එහෙම වීම වර මුහිම් කමෙන් මේ මියදු lesson ga මිවෙනි කමෙන් රංගල කර නොදී තිමන්න කීනෙන් හේ හදාලානේ මික රංගල කරන්නේ කුදින් කාර්යයක සහාය විදානේ නෝනි colleagues කාර්යයක department ගේ teachers කාර්යයක නෝනි inter department ko ve sama collaborate kurum mi වර මුහිම් කමෙන් almen as teachers to improve ourselves then varam muhimwane almen me plan kuraru misalaka me objective beenum wani mikahala me project eke ethi already if we can talk and decide that will be very easy for us so we should always encourage students always encourage kurang almen as teachers students and encourage aba kuranje almen encourage aba kuranje kujja ekkujja anek kujja encourage kuruma almen eba encourage kuranje a teacher and anek teacher kan encourage kurang එම මිහුරිහා කමෙන් එකුවගෙන් අල්මෙන classroom එක flip කොල්ලවෙනි එම මේ වරන් effectively teachers මිකා කංගන් කොෆේ බුරි එම අලොන් දෙම් බලාලම් බේනවනි හම buying examples අලොන ෆෙනිෆේ බුරි හම වර good lessons එම මේ හම one week එකගේ overview එක අලොන් මේ slide උන් අලොන් දෙම් බේනුම් වනි මෙහර week fesheruga eineni learning check ek kudina dasefu kuri kiha waregatto misal previous week un noniyamun mi lesson na kudina misal ka prerequisite evis waraka dasefu ebuhurito ei lesson learning check ek hadala then alu mideni projects e project vedan video tutorial lakavis daily assessment akavis group work akavis noniyamun lab experiment akas alme miti guluwala ni aluwan menge again the learning objective wa evis learning objective wa beru evis coming alme nuhimanana alme mitanun tikkollani learning objective wa mi gule hs ki kobato then alme et project ka badal kollaf kudin lava project carry out kollaf at the end alme mideni learning check quiz egota So me alunge 1 week I just wanted to give an overview to all the teachers. So I will go to the example. So this is the first example. I've seen a biology teacher doing this. You can see at the side the objective. So the objective was identifying the main regions and describing the functions of the alimentary canal. They have to identify the order. Tarutibu alimentary canal ge terega food daturu purayuga kobato organs ki ege functions like kobato. So I've seen the teacher doing a role play fishbowl method. So fishbowl fennani ane mustang ke gota minnani. So fishbowl ge terega ෆුරතම ගෲප් බහාලනි එකි රෝල්ස් දීෆ කුදින්න මිහාර එබ්බා කුදින් තිබේනි එකි කුදින මිදෙනි එකි ඕගන්ස් එබ්බා කුදින liver අනෙබ්බා කුදින pancreas අනෙබ්බා කුදින esophagus. So class bahala ekujjege role, each student will be learning their own role and the function. For example, if I get the liver, I will learn the function and I will learn the order of it, which order it falls into. So teacher is selecting one from each role and taking them into the fishbowl and asking them to play the role play. So the students will be carrying out the role play, and when they are carrying out the role play, the teacher is flipping the interchange in the roles. So the students have to be very attentive. Anytime they might have to get into the fishbowl and explain. So the students and not only the students, the students who are out of the fishbowl, who are not playing the role play, they also have a role. They have to come up with a feedback. They have to give a feedback. They have to observe and write what are the things that the students are doing right. They have to write the functions of each organ. They have to write the if there is anything to be corrected, they have to write. And at the end, all of the students, everybody has to write a report about the functions and how the order of the for these organs, and the teacher will be giving the feedback based on the report. So they have to include things that they can correct, they can do better in next time. So these so the students would achieve the feedback and also achieve the outcome, and also they would learn how to communicate well. They would learn how to be attentive in the class. So they will, apart from achieving the objective, they are also learning other very basic, very important skills. So this is the first example I want to share. The second one, I've seen Islam teachers doing this, but warang adu neven Islam teachers mikal kamekure kamalanhama මිහම ෆෙනුන example එකේ leaflet එක හදඩි ෆොරතම කම කාලනහම මේ procedure කියා දෙන ෆොරතම preparatory class teachers මේ බාවවනි lesson objective කියාද අන් හදාම්වනි මේ hadith පුත්තකේ ගේ lesson එකේ so ebe fulon මේ lesson objective share කරන්නේ මියොතිය lesson objectives එකේ තිකුදෙන් leaflet හදම් විය digital scrapbook එක ගොත මේ books के summary एक group හදාලා මේ දෙනි groups මේ work. So they have to do their work, and then a teacher me share kolani rubric ke mihiriya tikudinge work ga mane misme not a sermon me marks dene gotaki tikudin then mekudina mideni resources doesn't always have to be on the internet. Ekudinge textbook photo ga mihisaba she me nani atikudin kiyan je ba adi extra reading materials se hama me Google through ko ekudina drive upload ko de adi हम वार रंगल साइट तक हम मी क्रेडिटेड साइट तक एकुदिन मिदेनी इतुर कियालम बेनु वेन्नामु कियाला then ekudina mi set korani deadline ek set ko for minimum mihawur hours tikudin reading ka heda kurashe mihawur hours tikudin eba jehe ekkuja kanikocha collaborate koggen miti hadan mi spend kunam mihawur hours mihiriye then hama komme duha ko 1 hour they are giving teacher available wane online kon Google Meet එක තිකුදින් එවස් සුවාලෙන් ඔයජියා හම වදලා අහලා නිකුමගෙන් දාම්බිය. So they are giving a window to clear the doubts. එම teacher බලානේ මිකුදින් මේ work කරණි Google slides ka හම ෆෙන්නානේ කුදින් එක කරමුන්දා work ka හුරිහා ඇච්චේ teachers are chat kurevene kudin ekkujja kane kujja ka chat kurevene ema e facilitation process demmene assessment process ekudin final product hadagen genama ekkala feedback achi demun and me a doubt clear kuramun as assessment me hadani hadagen as ama kudin mark of difa emme fahum mikudin huriha teacher ekko mikura kama ki reflect kurane kobato common muli klahoga hu edifore mistake ki kobato de mikal project en hadairuga sanota miss tikudin improve kollam beenum wakam snowballing gota mi gendani kudin reflect kurang lesson objective wa kobato dasri kantataki kobato ekudin itura samalkan denje kantataki ehmema ei malonda fenon wara good example hama teachers take kuriya genna them alonda meaning hama waran interesting e chana even huriha teachers aves wara familiar wan kane kahoot ekam kahoot alon me use kone alon men amillaya quiz hadagen class gosta then we are practicing it but if we flip this and make it student centered this will become very very effective so we have done a revision quiz on kahoot so I'll share the
Demi and we have 20 minutes summary malgonde ka reminder ingeta
yes
yeah
so in this activity so we are having a pre-quiz session so in the pre-quiz we are sharing all the objectives and saying this is actually for an exam revision okay so we are saying that these are the objectives these are the topics that we will be coming that you will be assessed on so the students are actually divided into different groups and students are given each group come group ka mideni topic so the topics that is that actually that are assessed so each group they prepare a kahoot on themselves so students are collecting different questions and they have to enter the answers so into the Kahoot. So they are making each group is making a Kahoot quiz and on different topics and they are in the process the teacher is monitoring their work and checking whether I couldn't get answers to rangaluto I couldn't leave a quiz get questions to rangaluto teacher me check off a final product me hadan then minani quiz time maki eka moli duwa misaka one day not 2 day ekudena hadale vidane quiz so a group akun a Kahoot quiz kuriya gendani teacher and no a group akun kuriya gendani gengossa ehema komme group akun different topic e deefa meannani quiz kuriya genda hema a group egge me quiz a group akun kuriya gendani marks is dene then at the end ga huriha suwalaka huriha answers e compile kollafa ekudin amilla question hedi ekudin amillen answer hedi ekudin amilla topic research kuri ekudin hedi work ekko compile kolla ekudin mideni revision assignment revision ekala me material ekgotuga ekudin mihara yoti bank the question bank deifa teacher nuje vis working hada ka teacher nuje computer carry machine degen liya ka teacher balan jehne ekudin hadani rangalatto ekudin mikala quiz edine ekudin kiha interesting man kiha ufalum hadalan questions if we can give vara boda var rangala kudin kofo ek masakka temmi den alun hama last one ka balalam beenum mani video asa varam muhimmu kame me video projects alun menge kudin ratte koru me maths teacher en halatan alun fene so video project taki kudin ekkal maths hadairuga alun wenna maths teachers an hasako waraboda faak koren kudin wara shortcut methods wara molati gweggotan answers hadala me alun fenuni me kudinna misak algebra video kudin solve kuratan 1 minute or 2 minute ke videos they come up with the videos and they explain to their colleagues teacher me bunani colleague an explain koddeshe komme algebra ge mihira wattartake huri me wattartakun explain koddeshe kommes evvattaren explain koddeshe colleagues hema kudin kudu videos gota kuri mibune gotan eki different hama good wasilata beenum koggen kudu videos kolu hadafa furtama teacher me phone wani teacher phone me class ge eti share koffa discuss kollafa kobato emme rangalu videos like me emme rangalu chike gengoni kon kudin तो balaaf ehuriha videos taken ekko compile kola fem rangalu method ekko compile kola video ekan hadala for TED ki sida educational videos where teachers and students collaborate and share their videos ehama globally ඉන්න වෙබ්සයිට් එකෙන් එයි සෝ හැම ටෙඩ්ඩේට මෙලනි මිහිරියේ මිකාලක් ස්වාතන් හදාල වෙන ගොත් කාරණ හිවැනි මිකහල වීඩියෝ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් ස්කූල් එකගේ අල්මෙන් හම වරන් අප්ඩේටඩ් වරිහා ස්කූල් එකගේ Facebook page තක් Twitter page තක් මිකාල වීඩියෝ එක අල්මෙන් කුදින් හදාතම් ෆෙනුනීම් කිහා ෆෙන්න බේෆොන කිහා උෆාවෙරි කමකවන් parents කිහා උෆාවානේ හේ තිමන්නමගේ තරි මෙවන් හදාලනියේ මේ බොඩති වීඩියෝස් එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කොල්ලා දීෆා වරන් උෆාවෙරි මන්සරකම අරණ ගබ්බුකරම් දේනුම්වේ එම හම ශාෆියා මිස් ශාකොල්ලි ගොතන් අරණිස් හම බයිස්වාත just to think about කොබාත් කීවෙගෙන්තෝ teachers මීති බේනුන්නකෝ and කීවෙගෙන්තෝ unfriendly වනි මිකාල approaches taka then what are the difficulties that teachers face designing learning with PBL approach
Adam, sorry, inget tolong mereka time and manage kolam lagi.
I just shared the questions. We'll maybe discuss it later.
Yes. Thank you. Inget Adam, barabar syukriya inget Adam, ane presentation stop kolla ventam yaar. वरंग अगोरी वरा फायदा होरी मालूमात तक हिस्सा कोद्दवे फिंगे तो Adham have also highlighted the importance of flipping project-based learning, the pillars of project-based learning, how to plan the lessons and how to flip the lessons, and also very relevant practical examples were discussed in the presentation. දෙබේ ෆුළුම්වෙස් වර බේනුම් තෙරි වරන් අගුරි මවලුමත්තකින් හිස්සා කොද්දව ටීචර් උන්න ක්ලාස් රූම්ග ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් බේස් ලර්නිಂಗ್ approach බේනුම් කුරායිරුග කුරේ විධාන වරගින කන්තත්තකෙවස් ඉංගිගෙන් ගොසි presentation ತಕ ಫೋದೆಂಗ್ ಅಳಗೊಂಡು ಮೆ ಮೀವ ಗೊತ್ತು ಕೊಳಮಿ ಹಾಸ ಕೊಲ್ಲನಿ ಸ್ವಾಲ ಜವಾಬ್ಗೆ ವಗುತೆ ಕೊಳೆಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಗತ್ತಿಬೆ ಫ್ಲೋಂ ಮಿರೇಗೆ ಮಿ ಮೌಲುವಾ ಗುಳೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಜವಾಬು ಹೋದಾಲಂ ಬೇನುವಾ ಸ್ವಾಲ್ ತಕೆ ವಾನಮ type kolla devwa era Dr. Shafia was adham was vara me topic vara familiar befulon jawab devwa nam bagutande min varaku if you have any questions related to the topic please type in the chat so that the panelists will answer the questions during this time then along the furtama registration process gaves register koggen bæverwa befulna sualu kushalungu fursat wani hulu ala fehme registration process kaves asori by sual taka algon balalana egotu furtama suale egotu mindi project how to manage the time in PBL project based learning be flip koggen kiyawa there time manage kurun gengulen vi emme rangalu gottakki time manage kurum bahattam vi emme rangalu gottakki kobato e swal e margondo Dr. Shafia mi swal kollana Dr. Shafia mic
Yeah, I was on mute. And thank you very much, Azima. I think that's a very relevant question, especially because we're going to start a new thing. So while thinking about how to manage time during project-based learning, particularly when it comes to flipped project-based learning. So what I see is in my lesson, I normally design my lesson based on a range of different activities. So in each activity, I really allocate specific time. For example, even when the task is given at home, I clearly write that you should be expecting this much of time for watching the video, maybe skimming through the resources, and there are clear guidelines about how to go about it. And most probably, I think how you will understand is, okay, if I'm going to have 3 episodes of the lesson, what I said, I think you would probably remember, there is what we call pre-class. So the task is designed, and if you are to if you record video content recording, you've already done that. And then if you record to find more relevant resources, you've already done that. So that is pre-classes. So pre-class time, you design all that, you upload the task beforehand, before even you actually ask students to come and talk to you. That is one way. And the other way is when the students is in when students are in the class, you introduce the task. You really tell them this is how you go about it, and this is how much time you would be expected to spend on it and each of the tasks. So everything is designed for them, and that is about what we call the monitoring. And you check whether students are really spending time for skimming through the materials, watching the video. What did they do after each of the things that they are supposedly complete? So you kind of have some virtual meetings. I think Adham has already addressed to that point, and he was saying that during the process there is what we call really checking on how things are happening and how are they going about it, what you have said to do. So that is about, like, maybe you could just send a link to the students through Google Classroom and ask them, if you have any clarification to make, I'll be there for you, and I'll be here really asking about all the things. But you check how much time they're spending, because they don't supposedly spend the whole day, obviously. So meaning that if they were asked to complete the task within the given time, say, for example, about 4 or 5 hours at home, and when they come in the class, maybe they will have 2 periods for class, for example, only 1 hour. So during that time, even you have some activities type of design already done. But there are sort of some examples, like what I call station-based. So for each station, you will be given time. Okay, you're going to spend about 10 minutes to present your product or showcase your product. And then question and answers, we're going to have another 10 minutes. And another group can showcase so there are designed activities. So basically, time is a big factor, but how you can manage it, it depends on your learning objective, the product that students have done, how much time would they need to actually showcase it. So you're going to really go with the learning objective that you have decided, and you also know your students, how much time would they need in order to complete such type of task. So it doesn't need to be within 1 week. You can actually design the project for 2 weeks, or maybe if needed 3 weeks. Why not? Because it depends on the big topic that you're going with. Does that answer the question, Azima?
Thank you, Dr. Shafia. You have.
I was speaking in English because many of I think I have seen some chats that to speak English, but what I see sometimes when I start speaking in English, I just completely go in English. I'll try to make it bilingual.
Yes. Yeah. Shafia, thank you. That answered the question. You have answered the question very well. Then අරගොන්ඩ දෙවන සුවාලක ජීලාන මිහාරෝ හම චෙට් ගවස් බෑවරින් සුවාල් කුරව මුගෙන් දවක්කන් අරගොන්ඩ ආෆහක් කොල්ලාන දෙවන සුවාලගේ ගොතුම් බෑවරියක් කොල්ලා ෆයින් සුවාල මිහාරෝ අනේ මිහම comment එක එක්කොන් අරගොන්ඩ මන්නලි all these methods are great, especially love the Kahoot one. Most difficult aspect is making sure all students contribute to the project. එහෙම එක හුරිහා දරිවරුන් contribute කුරේතෝ ensure කුරානි කිහිනෙත්තෝ අදහම් ජවාබ
Yes, that's actually a very good question. එහෙම වී මල්ම මේ බේනුම් කරන් ජෙහෙනි different me modes. Me are almen na fennane alna given huriha teachers this vara boda familiar one kanenge Google Docs Google slides mahama liya kujja ku fennane. So liya kujja fennane when everybody is logged into a Google slide, when everybody is contributing, you would see how much each student is contributing and how much time students have spent on chatting with each other. So make sure that you check on them. Me har chatga chatga kujja ku contribute nukong innam always go back to the student and ask ekal me kobato masale ki kinetto undagulito me abadu skudinna check when we check on students, they will be more easier and more comfortable. Me har wagut ki by kudina group work hadan der kudin eha ekoje kone koja collaborate kura nujeheti ekoje ane koja kawaha da kanujeheti mi eha boda kudinge relationship build nukure hunna nekam when they started collaborating with each other eka suwatan hodumga ei kurin shafiyamis ebune gota eka roles fesheruga wara boda roles ta kudina kiyadenche mi kudinne eka responsible wani question hadan mi kudinne question and responsible wani answer hadan mi kujjaye type kurani kahoot ga mi kujjaye kahoot ge ane answers the type kurani mi kujjaye kahoot ge ane question the type kurani so komme kujjakas roles bahala finima ham ekudin kurani we will be hama me surprised by the effort they put hama klaga emme mibuni eha boda wahon daka kujjes mikala kamel libuni wara interest ekko askolen so I would ask that specific teacher ala meeti try kollashe hama yaginun hama 100% work kurane meeti kahoot ga hama yagin if you allow if you give them different roles this would work.
शुक्रिया आएंगे तो हम वरा फुरी हम जवाब दे वैफी दें अलगोंडा हम दें सवाल जहिलान दें सवाल कोल्ला फमी सवाल की मैं हम कमेंट कायकों I love the idea of PBL and would love to use it in my class. They mean any will this work for primary students? Not all students know how to use the tools and all students can not all students can be committed to explore and learn by themselves. Ema primary kudinna mi work kurane to noni work kurane gwettaki kobato Dr. Shafi ami swala jawab dewa minunto
ආදාරුන් දිවෙහින් හම වර බොඩ primary teachers ඉමන් වර බොඩ බේනු මිති වර clear ideas සමදාම් directly to them so primary කොදින්න වස් flipped classroom වර common ko gende ingeto ඒගතන ખાસක කුරවිදාන කන්තත් කි වර simple video content හදාලා මිහාර සස හොරේ කන්නේ argument tele class ka හදා for achievers හකිගතුක ඒ resources තවස් මිහාරස් use කරව එනගෙto එහෙම කොම්මෙහෙන් හොරි හැච්ච කා තිබෙ ෆලො මිහාර හදා කන්වස් ජන එහෙම හදා for achievers බේනු කොගෙන් හම ඒචි හම කුදින්න available platform එක මිහාර එමෙ common කොම් බේනු කරන්නේ මම්ම මෙන්ගේ phone දෙත්ත හුරි එච්චිස්සන් අපද සුරි වසීලත්තක බලජ අල්මෙන් expect කොගෙන් නුවානේ මිසාලක බේරුගොම එක මෙවැනි කන්තත් මෙන් platform hada fetchin devenyamu ekantatan arguing students liben e liben huri wasilate misalka Google Classroom ga upload kuran argon me mihan e meje video ta Google Classroom upload koffa kudin e hadan je product en hadan ayo One simple example English ki awade class ek grade 2 ga wes ekudin tayyar kuran je h ki liu me vejjam nuniyam process right nuniyam h hada gol lien je nuniyam me liu improve kuran je kama vejjam emi hon gega kura kamegge amilla video hadafa den emi hon amillen ya behe gotum wa ka dakkafa e afa hoga liu no pro wa ke produce kuri right nuni liu no ethical image la emi hon video hadan dibal my goodness they would love it ingeto grade dege kudin novsedene grade 3 ge kudin novsedene hama then grade 1 ge kudin no hedem we sevenne UKG kudin mes me video hada ingeto ehme kudin amilleya misalaka wahaka dakkan jeheni enage beautiful enage peta behe gotum vejjiyam ena egen fenna features taka behe gotum wahaka dakkar mamma kar bunashe ena video kolla deshe wahaka dakkaruga den ena ege nantakkiya hadam vejjiyam veti kuranje kantakkiya guide million ena kuranje kantatta m4 end product on jeni ena tayyar kofe video missa upload kolla deshe Google Classroom ge assignment by that's it then klahan essa ewaha dakkaruga kujja hada furetti showcase kurima ekudinge self confidence aiwegen dagotti befuruna tasavvurus nukureven ingeto then e dasvi skills ta guna adadu nukureven kudinge wahaka dekkunge honoru tan alawa varu kudin amille negi phone echi itara clear kuran tide furusatta that's lot of learning hagigatuga me 21st century ge learning design kuranje gotaki grade 1 අරුවන් මිදන්නවනි ග්‍රේඩ් 1 ඉන් ෆට්ට වාරනිකාගන්ත මේ කොට කොට මෙයා බෙහෙගුතු වාක දෙක එක්කොච්චා මම්මගේ ෆෝන වීඩියෝ කොල්ලක නුණ ගන්න මාගිට වගුතේ නෝනියාමු අනේ මම්ම මෙන් ලැප්ටොප් ගෙන්ගුලේක මවන්යාමු ස්ක්‍රීන් කාස්ටිෆය ජස්ට් හං ඉඳගෙන එන කුරා කමේ එන හෙදි මිසාලක ලියුන එච්චෙන් හදා ගොයි දක්කාලක නුණ ගන්න මාගින වගුතේ අනේ Google Meet හොරවාලාගෙන් එන කුරා කන්තේ නාමිල්ලය රිකෝඩ් කොල්ලක නුණ ගන්න මාගින වගුතේ ඒ නාමිල්ලව සිංගන එකන් කරන් ඒ වර එක බුනා user friendly ko hunna tools ta hogwa me dakkan එම්ම ප්‍රොඩක්ටෙන් හදාර ෆෘතම දුව හුතාය උඳගවානි දෙන් හදාර එරවල් ෆසේවන් දෙන් හදාර අධි එවරවස් ෆසේවන් එහෙම why not we start ෆෘතම ස්ටෙපකි ස්ටාර්ට් කරු හමුත් ප්‍රයිමරි ගවස් ගෙන්දවන කොම් මෙත්ස් වෙස් ඉංග්ලිෂ් වෙස් සෝෂල් ස්ටඩීස් වෙස් කොමෙ මාදයකවස් ඉස්ලාම් ගුරුවම් වෙස් අරුන්කාරි ගෙද්දු කහි ප්‍රයිමරි එක්සාම්පල් දෙවෙන්ගේ තෝසි මාල්ගොන්න වගුත් කොල දෙවා ගුරුවානුග කිහිනෙන් හෙయ్యೆ ಗುರುವಾನುಗ ಬಲ್ಲ ಅದಿ ಮಾ ಫಸೆಯಾನೊಂತು ಕುಜ್ಜ ಆಮಿಲ್ಲೆ ಕಿಯವಾಫ ಏನ್ ಆಮಿಲ್ಲೆ ರಿಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಫ ಏನ್ ಆಮಿಲ್ಲೆ ಮಿಸಾಲಕಂ ಏನ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಯುಯೇಟ್ ಕೊಫ ಎಬುನಾ ಬಸ್ತ ಅಳುಗಂಡ ಮೀತಿ ಕಿಯುನಿ ಮಿಹೆನ್ನೆ ಅಳುಗಂಡ ವರಂ ಮಿಹಾರ್ ಮಿವನಿ ಗೊತ್ತಕ ಕೀಮೆ ಅಳುಗಂಡ ಮಿಯಕುರು ಬೊಡ ನೆರವೆನಿ ಏನ್ ಆಮಿಲ್ಲೆ ವಾಕ ದಕ್ಕಾಫ ರಿಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಫ ದೆನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಹಂ ಎಸ್ ಏನ್ ದಕ್ಕಾಲ ರೆವಾ ಉಫ ಮೂನು ಮತಿನ್ ಫೆನ್ನ ಉಫಲ ಕಿತಿವೆ ಫ್ರುನ್ನ ತಸವ್ವುರುಸ್ ನುಕುರೆವರುಗೆ ಉಫಾ ವೆರಿಕಮ ಏಯ್ ಎಕ್ಕುದಿಂಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂಗೆ ತೋ ಎಕ್ಕುದಿನ್ ದಕ್ಕನೆ की वेहे अळगण में तकरार को एकल कुज्जा रो बाय रो बाति पैम मिकीवा ए तिवस फ्लिप कुरवेने गोत्ता ए पार्ट ऑफ एन एगे एक्टिविटी एकं हदाशे ए अळगण में दन्නවා කමකි गेतो थैंक यू
आदि शुक्रिया डॉक्टर शाफिया हमारा फुरी हमें प्राइमरी गवस में ගෙන්දාන ගොත්ත ඉදාල් වෙදෙවැෆි then අळගොඬ then in swala balalaana miswalu minnani this question is to Mr. Adham. Sir, what are the classroom challenges you face when implementing flipped classroom for the first time? Adhamma ane Adhamge classroom ga genda iroes face wa challenges ta ki kobato dem furatama param nikan kura teacher unnavis hama devana message ki kobato.
Yes. So the first thing actually there is actually a lot of challenges. First thing in planning, our the project-based learning requires a lot of planning. So we have to sit with a teacher, maybe a colleague or an expert. I want to tell you, actually, it is not something. So mostly as teachers, we think that asking somebody, it is wrong. It is not wrong. We have to ask from somebody. If we need help, we have to ask from expertise. So we have to ask from somebody who, and we have to read from the internet. We have to be very educated about the project-based learning first. So as teachers, first we have to master it. That is the first key. So we have to master it, and then of course we will do it in our classes. The first challenge is I think one of the teacher highlighted that kudinnaka ekal eha rattissenone furatama fasharu galmen alif ba kudinnan alan dasko derugas kudinnaka rattissenone nunto ekudinaka negen nunto letters take furatama fasharu gai en furatama fasharu almen atuga hifagen ves kudin lavva eba liuvan detto follow matiga follow ves almen eba ala den detto e hama flipped based learning project based learning flip kogen hama classroom ga kiyawader hama migutashi almen furatama fashion jeni kudin kare ga hama bonan jeni mi alun men use kurane application ki mifita fitali me record wani mifita fitali me upload wani mindiye upload koren je tangol furatama fahar hama jeni huri hache kiyade at first time we have to tell the student this is the app we are going to use, this is how you upload it, this is how you do your work, and this is the time that I am available. If you have any question, please ask me. And in the first process, it is very, very important for you to monitor them, check whether, especially I think Shafia Miss highlighted that if the students know that we are checking on them, if we give them a call, if we ask them, if we make them accountable, they would do it. But if we don't care and if we don't really check on them, if we careless, then our students also will be careless. So students, I would like to say students are actually a reflection of ourselves. So how prepared we are, how accountable we are, we will see from our students. So that is actually very, very important to start. Always never be afraid to experiment during learning. So we will always learn from our mistakes. With the students, we will learn. We have to make sure, we have to ensure that we tell the students that we are also human. We are learning with them every day. We are learning, but we are there for you. We will make them happy. We will make learning enjoyable and more related to everyday life. So that is the most important thing.
شكرا عندك أذهم دينها ما أهم بيفرق كروا فين سؤالين ألوان دكتور شافي أمي سؤال كلانا مي أنا technical challenges taka economy technically mi resources net tantanuka flipping project based learning kuriya gende vidaneto den mi sawal kolla feni malugandu hama Dr. Shafia jawab den fursataru alana Dr. Shafia mic
Forgetting about the mic, yeah. So sorry about that. Thank you very much, Azima. Yeah, I think that's a very good question because most of our teachers think that really tackling with technology is something really big. I mean, like I should be mastered in all the different tools and technologies in order to do any such thing like we are talking about this. So asloga committee teacher kaves mihe for timanna wanje hani vara boda technology ya molu miha kashe mikala kantakura. Hagigata ki eyenno hagigata ki asloga ane arminga adha me ishara kuri hama feshi imaye then huri step ta nagangi geni nufashe ne geni ehemi ma technology ge honna challenges taka technical masala takaki alugandu wenna wes adiwes dimawa masala alugandu me wara ginan technology benu kura me kiyawa deruga ekamaku I get so many surprises and hiccups. Believe me, you wouldn't even imagine. You can't imagine how many different hiccups big me and dairuga alugandu amillen alugunge classroom ga dimawa kantatawga by dustu mehen nuliyevige eta kantatage koha balalaruga by far fene misalaka midakani classroom ekka ane feneruga mi wagandu gos guli finances wagandu mendum komes dimalakum connection disconnecting as ekam beli madu mi ngeni ei mi mihen kam mi wani nuniya komes dimalakum lose ever for komes dimal hori haiche natten allun jahafa se bade ane cpu allun gulan jefa haru se bade technical muscle there is no ending asluga technical muscle ta hunnan hiccups hunnane ekam hiccups urima algun men kurama kanta talgun men miyadu hiccups timawe ma ukudi kottu nufilwa den hori kanta teke nufilane datto ehemema the idea is technology ya ekko we have to go asluga technology ga hunna technical muscle ta ki nimumen annane kamenno and the interesting thing is miyadu me benum kuna tool maduma benum kuna ehen gotaka by faru ore bæver farwa badal formuli ekkala interface noniya mi fenna page do ekamako ehud anikkawe singeni mihin adali meti rangaluwaka so a lot of learning is there astu gannu hivani emme frutamakamaki you are ready to learn on the go asuga mig idea ki be curious be ready to learn and whatever comes on the way ingedo hama technical kanta huttas echisa ekko dang mindset a mentality vara muhim wecce alugana hiyana aluganduge astuga migota koriyadumuge emme podu mecce kiye I never stop thinking about what I could do differently and I tend to actually try new things every time when I see something new ehem me aswagat ki technical kantatta ma bodu kamaka hagigatuga dimayno bahake ki issue akanno veye den wati technical kantatta ka ekko dairuga kudina ves dimawan me kanta we actually need to really prepare them with technical kantattaka because life is hama vara boda roller coaster every single day you're gonna have hama me covid nonas every serious kantatta ves vara unanticipated kantatta every day you are going to face em asu 21st century ge kudin tayyaru kuruwa kiyes aa kantattaka tayyaru kurum aa hiccups taka tayyaru kurum aa challenges taka tayyaru kurum so technical issue ga nonane hallen astuga nge ei alugunge jawabaki technical issue ekko danje hen ekamaku when something doesn't work you go an alternative way that's it find some otherwise mununi devidane en gotaka basically it is about the solution meeti hallu ande horege nothing is going to start nothing is going to be started soon so we are not going to wait until the time comes to us we have to run after the time because time will not come to us unless you are ready to go about it okay thank you
ada shukriya angeta Dr. Shafia hama technical challenges huttas mi hama fashion vecce kurevene kamekkan algon mennan hama jawabun engigen gosi den ativis wara suwaltane baade ekamako miharo webinar ni nimmala wagutu jehon fawa umaiko අලුගොඬ අනේ ෆුර්සත් අරවානන් දෙ පෙනලිස්ට් උන්නවස් ක්ලෝසින් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක ගොතක හම එමිනෙට් ගේ කොමෙ බෙෆ්ලකවස් එමිනෙට් අරවානන් හම ඉච්ච විදාලව දෙවාංගෙ තෝ ඩොක්ටර් ශාෆියා
අලුන්ගේ හම අලුන් බේනම් වර බොඩ මේ මෙසේජ් අලුන් මෙන්ගේ හම ખાસක local teachers ingeto because අලුගන්න හම වරකින PDs නගාරුග දිමාවක් කමෙමි මීචි සායකෝ ගෙන්දන් උල learning objectives hasil wakamenege noniya learning objective hasil uma etcha reach uma war bar dati ensure kuran dati veye then me asolguna hiwan arunge visnumge ehmen kan argun PBL ge philosophy asu kiyadeni philosophy ki let the students experience the learning, let the student experience and engage in the learning process. Learning doesn't need to be at a temporary moment. Hello, it is a continuous process. So don't think today if the student was unable to write 2 sentences and that's it. No way. You need to think further and beyond your learning outcome is a temporary thing. It's a continuous process. Ehema asuga learning objective hasil novegen eha boda has no ashe within the given time. Eha message ki. Don't be too focused on that.
ade hama awara rangala dalwe devwa solganda hama wara boda yakin mi vaverin this message ligdawa kama adham
nimmalum gotun budelam beenum wani alond kiye sama teacher eke hamalmen is teachers udinnan eba jeheye realize kodden astu learning ki hama mi ಬದಲುವ ಎಚ್ಚೆಕ್ಕಂ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಗೊತ್ತಕವಸ್ ಲಾನ್ ಕುರೆ ವಿಧಾನಕಂ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕುಜ್ಜಕು ನುಜೆಹೇಕಂ ಲಿಯಾ ಕಶೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕುಜ್ಜಕು ನುಜೆಹೇನಕಂ ಅಂಗಬಹುಂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕಿಯಾದೆ ಕಶೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕುಜ್ಜಕು ನುಜೆಹೇನಕಂ ಮಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಗೆ ಲಿಯಫ ಏಗ ಅನೆ ರೆಡ್ ಗಲಮಕುಂ ಹೇಯೋ ಲಾಗೆಂ ಏಗ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಜಹಾ ಕಶೆ ಏಕಿ ಗೊಗ್ಗೆಂ ಹುಣ್ಣಾನಕ ಅಲ್ಮೆಂ ಏಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕುದಿನ ಕಿಯವ ದೇಂ ಅದಿ ಕುದಿನ್ ಕಿಯವಾತೋ ಕುದಿನ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಹಾಸಿಲ್ ವೀತೋ ಬಲಾನ್ ಏಕಿ ಗೊಗ್ಗೆಂ ಹುಣ್ಣಾನಕ ಅಲ್ನಸ್ತು ಉರಿಹಾ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಗಸ್ ಬುಣೆಲಂ ಬೇನುವೆ mi explore kurashe alon men eba jeheye mi as teachers kudin eba 21st century prepare kura almen astu hagigatu mihar almen as adults as almen mi project en nufasha eba tiben miti ekala mi final ko almen ekala project fasha degree echiga hama hada kudime almen eba fene miti perfect kuram wegen nufeshigen perfect ekala introduction and knowledge nufeshige ekam we have our lecturers with us say hama dakkalima ahalima teachers gunane thai ema meeti hama shafiyamis kuringe vidale gotan hama fashion jeheni hama key stage 1 kudin kare ba bunan jehe nujehe perfect wakashe teachers miti be over time aharme miti master kuraniye komme skill levels aharme master kuraniye Putin and Hananko Deshe, we are there for you, we will learn with you, we will be there for you, Harmems Daspuraname Kudinaipko, and make teaching more enjoyable and different. This will make a difference. Huriha me teachers carriers Bunelang Almenge education revolutionary for me important, important. Make it more enjoyable.
Ade, Varabude Shukurianga. අලුගොන්න මෙන්ගේ වෙබිනා වගුත්තු හමවන් කැරුමක් මිහාරෝ නිමුම කම්මියයි දෙබේ ෆ්ලෝ නවස් ඩොක්ටර් ශාෆියා වස් අදහම්මක් වස් හම අලුගොන්න මෙන්ගේ පෙනලිස්ටුන්ගේ ගොතුක බාරේ වඩාගෙන් තීස්සා කොද්දෙවි අගුරි මවුලුමත්තක අලුගොන්න වරබොඩ ශුකුරු දන්නවම් හම අලුගොන්න මෙන්ගේ උම්මීදකි teachers are teaching and learning teachers ke teaching and learning na ituru fෑදාය මේ මවුලුමත්තකුන් කුරාණකම අදි හමයෙemme දරිවරුන්න මීගේ ෆෑදා ලිබිගෙන් දානකම ಶುಕ್ರಿಯಾಂಗೆತ ಹೊರಬಡ ದಿಬೆ ಫುಳೊನ್ನವೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ ನಿಮ್ಮಾಲುಂಗೆ ಕುರಿನ್ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಿರೆಗೆ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ಗೆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಗೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚೆಟ್ಗ ತಿಬೆ ಫುಳೊನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲಾ ಫಮಿಹಾರ್ ವಾಣಿ ತಿಬೆ ಫುಳೊಮ್ ಮಿ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ದೋಫ ವಡಾಗ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕುರಿನ್ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫುಳಾಲ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲ ದೇವ ವಾಣಿ. We hope that today's webinar session gave you new insight into the topic flipping project-based learning, and also this will be beneficial for your teaching and learning, and also this will benefit our students as well. So before leaving, we have shared the link of feedback form in the chat, so please fill and submit the form. එහෙනම් මම හිසාබුන් වෙබිනා නියුමකම් මියයි වෙබිනා දුරාගාතුන් අඩුස්සෙවි අධි බෙල්ලෙවි හුරා බේෆුරන බාජේ රේකන් එදමු අලුන් වක්වෙලාන. වස්සලාමු අලයිකුම්.